And welcome to the Legal Law channel, and today we're going to discuss some important asylum cases from the European Union. And the first case is a case from Berlin, and the court ruled on the case of 3 Somali nationals who were deported at the border with Poland, stressing that their government had violated asylum laws. And the court says immigrants cannot be turned away without their asylum application being examined first. The court said the rejection of asylum seekers violates German law and is not in line with EU's Dublin system, which demands that every member state conduct a thorough investigation to determine which EU country is responsible for processing the application. Now, in response, the new German government on Monday said on June the 2nd that it would continue its flagship policy to turning asylum seekers away at its borders despite a court ruling against this practice. So they're going to keep doing it and defy the court order. And despite this, the Interior Minister, Alex de Brint, said hours after the judgment that we will continue, and I quote, with the pushbacks, adding that we think we have the legal justification for this. So the government think they're within their rights to stem illegal immigration into the country of Germany. How will this pan out? Well, we'll see how it's hashed out in EU law further. But now an interesting case on false passports and immigration. And this case was in Italy, so we're going to just look at that now. The judgment of the court is case C460/23, a Kinsa case it is. And in August 2019, a third country national presented herself at the airport of Italy. Now, the case only came for mention here in the European Court recently. So the person arrived at the Italian airport, and on arrival of a flight from a third country, accompanied by her daughter and niece, both minors and having the same nationality as her, using false passports, she was arrested and is being prosecuted for the offence of facilitating unauthorised entry into the territory. But she did state that she had fled her country of origin because she and her family were threatened by her former partner, since she feared for the physical integrity of her daughter and her niece, over whom she had actual care following the death of the niece's mother. Now, she took those minors with her through the airport. They had false passports, and shortly afterwards she submitted an application for international protection. Now, and what did the court rule in this context? Well, in this context of the criminal proceedings, the District Court of Bologna made a reference to the Court of Justice. And what did they decide? Well, the Court of Justice then examined whether the above mentioned, as I already said, conduct falls within the scope of the general offence of facilitation of unauthorised entry within the meaning of EU law, and whether it may be punished by criminal penalties. And the Italian court asked the Court of Justice about the scope of the general offence of facilitation of unauthorised entry provided for by EU law, and the court decided a third country national who enters the European Union in an unauthorised manner cannot be penalised for facilitation of unauthorised entry solely because he or she is accompanied by he or her minor child. Now, in my opinion, this case highlights the pressure that countries face against the EU law judgments, and even airlines, as this case highlights if a person could clear immigration checks with a false passport, then in my opinion, what chance would airline staff have to detect such an anomaly? Now, surely it's not the airline's fault for illegal immigration when the system of border control fails to detect, and when the person arrives they are free to seek asylum. Is this the correct judgment? In these cases, I will leave that with you to decide. Leave in the comments below as I educate on the law of these cases only, so I look forward to your comments. Take care.